The third and deciding test, and an interesting lineup as far as Australia was concerned. Les Johns was at fullback. The wingers Irvine and King. Diamond and Greaves in the centre. 5'8" Gleeson. Halfback Billy Smith. Rod Lynch in the lock. Second rowers and playing in his first test, Arthur Beetson, along with Mick Beavers. Kelly and Wittenberg were the props, and Ian Walsh, hooker and captain. The Great Britain side was under the leadership of Brian Edgar. The full side, Gowers at fullback. Burgess and Wrigglesworth on the wing. Brooke and Buckley in the centres. Alan Hardesty, 5'8". Tommy Bishop, half. In the lock position, Dave Robinson. Bill Ramsey, who was sent off in the second test, partnered Mantle in the second row position. Edgar and Watson in the front row, and Flanagan is the hooker.
Gowers kicks off for Britain, the ball being taken in front of Australia's goal by Diamond. Making towards the 25, he crashes into Buckley but loses the ball, knocking on, trying to recover, and a scrum will pack down. Walsh wins the ball for the Kangaroos. Smith electing to run wide, but he's covered by Mantle. Applying early pressure, the Lions move up quickly, trying to bustle their opponents into error inside the 25. Handling safely, the experienced Australians withstand the onslaught. Test newcomer Beetson rucking the ball out. Pivot man Billy Smith sends the forwards through, but the tourists choke off play close to the rucks as the evenly matched packs wage a torrid battle. Outmanoeuvring Britain, Lynch sends Smith darting through a gap, but a loose pass gives the visitors a chance to regain possession in a scramble near halfway. The backs attempt to launch a counter-attack, but are checked by the alert and rugged defence. British forwards combine intelligently. Edgar's ball distribution ensuring a flow in the play. Down the blind side, Flanagan is clear, but is grasped by Johns and King. Taking the initiative, the Lions forwards send Bishop away. The little halfback sets up Brooke, who sustains the attack until taken by Irvine. Using short passing rushes in the forwards before swinging the ball to the backs, Britain make ground, but the Kangaroos spread an effective defence to often frustrate the tourist endeavours. Even the normally elusive Bishop is held in check. Britain continue to move the ball, waiting for a lapse in defence. Their methods produce a dividend as Australia is ruled offside within kicking range for Gowers. Son of 1928 tourist Walter Gowers, the fullback has a great chance to score his first points against Australia. It's there, and Britain lead 2-0 after 5 minutes. Coming in to make the extra man, Johns is a constant menace to the visitors. With their teamwork functioning smoothly, the Kangaroos never lack support. Running onto the ball, Australia's forwards are full of confidence, and their rivals will have to be at their best to hold them. Giving the backs more scope, Australia vary their play with Diamond in his first test since 1963 playing a prominent part. Dummy half Kelly to Wittenberg, who smashes through. The Kangaroos appear to be getting on top as Britain struggle to contain them. Continuing to use their big men, Australia test the defence to the limit as Kelly makes for the corner. He's pulled down by Flanagan, but Britain are in trouble. Showing great improvement on the first 2 tests, the Kangaroos are fiercely determined to maintain maximum pressure to gain an early breakthrough. Sweeping the ball from one side of the field to the other, the Australians are closing on Britain's line. Beating Brooke, Greaves drives over the 25, carrying tacklers with him. Kangaroos use the open side. Smith to Gleason, on to Beatson, who crashes through Buckley and dispatches a perfect pass to Irvine, who goes over. It's Irvine's 10th try in Anglo-Australian tests, creating a record he previously shared with Reg Gasnier and Britain's Billy Boston. Australia lead 3-2. Irvine is playing his 9th consecutive test against Britain, one more than Gasnier, but the same number Boston played against Australia. Displaying their best form of the series, Australia penetrate on numerous occasions. The British backs tackle stoutly, but such heavy work could prove detrimental to their attacking skills. Hard-running Diamond does his part in softening up the opposition. Although closely marked, the British forwards excel in rucking out the ball to bring their backs into attack. Bishop attempts to send Hardesty through, but the 5'8" knocks on and a promising move is short-lived. Britain's ball. Bishop to Gowers, up to make the extra man, but near halfway he's heavily dumped by Diamond. Referee Col Pearce calls Diamond back to issue a warning for using a rabbit killer. A warning that surprises the Australian, but gets Bishop's approval. In slow motion, the struggle for forward supremacy is illustrated in bruising detail. Beavers is taken by Watson, who is tireless in and around the rucks. Holding possession for long periods, the Kangaroos charge into British territory, cleverly slipping the ball to their supports. They're eager to give their speed man scoring chances, but Irvine is crowded at times, and his opposite number, Wrigglesworth, gives him special attention. With Walsh using the blind side discreetly, Smith draws the defence, and with Lynch backing up to send Johns through, Gowers is forced to make desperate saving tackles. Joining in the play, Diamond sends Beatson on another ground-gaining run, and the 16.5 stoner never fails to make his presence felt. Britain are becoming rattled as the Kangaroos' well-timed passing subjects the visitors to constant pressure, but Mantle's cover stops many dangerous situations. Hardesty unsuccessfully tries to free the ball from Irvine with a twisting tackle. On the dummy half position, Smith whips a pass to Johns, whose pace and sidestepping is a thorn in the British side. Like Beatson, he's excelling in his initial test against the Lions. Unlike their pattern of play in Brisbane, the Australians open up the game. Smith to Beatson. With Gowers out of position, Beatson kicks for left winger Johnny King. Following on, King gathers and goes in for Australia's second try. Considered the outsiders before the start of play, the Kangaroos are producing the same brand of football that gained them memorable successes in the Swinton tests of 1959 and 63. The try again in slow motion. Beatson's high kick for the corner sparks off a thrilling race for the ball, with King easily outpacing Gowers and Burgess. Australia goes to an 8-2 lead. Diamond hammers through the centres and has Beavers with him, but again Watson is there to defend. The Kangaroos' leader, Ian Walsh, directs movements with chain passing a feature of play. Beating Bishop, Greaves is taken by Hardesty, generally acclaimed the finest player in the tourist backline. Continuing with their enterprising pattern, the Kangaroos strive to drive home their advantage, but the British defence tightens up. Through Buckley, the tourists strike back, but he's taken by Diamond as the absorbing battle between the opposing centres goes on. Britain makes towards Australia's territory as Bishop sends to Robinson, but he's safely held by Walsh. Marking Robinson, Walsh kicks, hoping to free the ball, but Bishop gathers, making leeway until tackled by Smith. With half-time approaching, Britain lift their tempo, endeavouring to get back into the match before the interval. Robinson shows his annoyance at Beatson's treatment, but the Australian is unperturbed. From the play the ball, Flanagan sends to Edgar, who gets his pass away to Bishop, on to Burgess, but he's taken from behind by Smith within a few yards of the Australian line. Although winning a good share of the ball, Australia meet determined defence around the scrum base before the backs get a chance to move into top gear. Smith plays the ball to Lynch as the forwards take over inside the 25 to clear the danger area. Johns is grasped by Buckley and Bishop. Diamond comes in to forcibly drag Bishop away, resulting in both players being called out for a warning. One of the most successful of the tourists, the fiery Bishop, is playing in his first Test series, whereas Diamond began his Anglo-Australian career in 1958. Slow motion as Edgar slips the ball to Mantle, but he's taken by Wittenberg and Diamond. Perhaps the finest ball distributor in the game, Edgar lays the foundations of many passing thrusts as Britain search for a chink in Australia's armour. Bishop sends Buckley through a gap near the right flank, but the beaver-like Smith, who's everywhere, drags him down. Maintaining their attack, Britain keeps play in Australia's domain. Mantle, running wide, looms up dangerously until taken by John's copybook tackle. Flanagan passes to Bishop, who uses a grubber kick to pierce the defence, but Lynch, with good anticipation, gathers near the corner as half-time is signalled. With all showing visible signs of the grueling 40 minutes, the Australians make for the dressing room and a 10-minute spell. They played well to establish a handy 6 points lead, but Britain are far from a beaten side. Johns kicks off in the second half, the ball bouncing from Brooks' shins, but the speedy centre gathers to set out on a clearing run, only to be stopped by Lynch. Replacing the injured Mantle, 18-stone Bill Bryant makes a few yards, but is held by Wittenberg and Beavers as the forwards resume their battle. Australia also has a replacement, Dick Thornett coming on for Arthur Beetson, who suffers a recurrence of a shoulder injury. The close defence tends to unsettle Britain and fundamental errors occur. Their scrummaging is not as decisive as in the first half, and they give away penalties. With Keith Barnes out due to a knee injury, Les Johns takes over Australia's goal kicking, but he's not having a good day with his boots. From Gar's 25 dropout, Australia gained possession, but Kelly is heavily tackled by Brooke and Watson. Intent on keeping the ball moving, the Kangaroos make ground using short passes amongst the forwards to wrong-foot the opposition. But Bryant, Edgar and Ramsey defend grimly in the rucks. Thornett to Smith as the Australians try to open up play, but Gleeson is held by Watson. The Queenslander plays the ball to Walsh, on to Thornett, then Wittenberg to Lynch, but the lock forward can't hold the pass. Swooping on the loose ball, Diamond is kicked in the back by Watson, sparking off a fierce exchange. Smith pushing Flanagan to the ground. Before any further damage is done, referee Pearce confers with linesman Godfrey at left and Alexander, who report the incident. Diamond is still on the ground as Pearce orders Watson from the field. Showing surprise at the decision, Watson slowly begins the long walk to the dressing room. And for the second successive test, Britain has to play a man short, Ramsey having been ordered off for a similar offence in Brisbane. The only Londoner playing top-class rugby league, Watson gives his version to trainer Paddy Armour. Australia are penalised in the scrum within comfortable range for guards. He's wide of the target, Gleeson taking the ball safely, but Brooke takes him to ground. Exerting pressure on the curtailed defence, the Kangaroo backs and forwards combine, but the visitors check them effectively. Using a fast service, the forward sends Smith away. He's at top pace, but is halted by Buckley. The 14-stone Diamond is rarely taken in the first tackle. A major threat to Britain, his influence on the game provides a parallel to the third test of the 62 series, when he lined Eric Ashton and Australia won that one. The Kangaroos are poised for attack. But Lynch's pass to Johns is intercepted by Hardesty, and he's away with the line open. Reeves goes after him in a hopeless chase, and Hardesty scores under the post. Britain are now within 3 points of their rivals. Here's the try again. Hardesty's faultless anticipation taking the Australians by complete surprise. An easy conversion for Gowers, narrowing Australia's lead to a single point. Their morale lifted, Britain drive forward, but are met by bruising defence. With only 12 men, the visitors value possession more than ever and are prepared to keep the ball in play until an opening appears. Patience, restraint, and experience are vital factors in such circumstances. Flanagan's loosely thrown pass is towed through by Beavers, but gathering smartly, Gowers makes up lost ground until grasped by Gleeson. Britain continue their exciting fight back, but there's often 2 Australian tacklers to take their man. Slow motion shows Edgar trying to get his back line moving, but the ball is cut off at the centres by Australia's defensive overlap. Unable to penetrate, Britain wisely persist in throwing the ball about, but forfeit possession as Robinson knocks on. A severe blow, as with only a 5-man scrum, they'll be hard put to get the ball. Won by Australia. Breaking quickly, Lynch dashes down the right wing, but Wigglesworth intercepts his pass. Sprinting hard along the flank, he beats Smith and Johns, but is taken into touch over the halfway line by Irvine and Wittenberg. Britain's ball and a chance for Hardesty. Flashing up the centre, he lacks support and is taken by Smith, who is doing a tremendous amount of tackling. The forwards spring into attack as Flanagan sends to Bryant, but the second row is collared by Diamond just outside the Australian 25. And some of the spectators really feel for the Britisher. The Kangaroos burst through, Thornett sending to Wittenberg, who's held by Flanagan, but slips the ball to Johns on the burst. Across to Irvine, who fails to take cleanly, but recovers to go in for a try. The British players dispute the referee's ruling of a rebound, claiming a knock-on. Bishop in particular being vigorous in his protests. Watch closely as the try is shown again. Here it is from yet another camera angle. Was it a knock-on? After seeing these pictures, the referee confirmed a fair try. What do you think? Australia lead 11-7, but from a penalty, Gowers reduces the margin by 2, and a lively finish to an already thrilling match is assured. Johns dispatches a long-range kick towards Britain's line, the ball bouncing off Flanagan's legs. But recovering, the hooker runs towards the 25 before being taken by Thornett. Robinson to Edgar, whose constructive play is an ever-present danger to Australia. The tourists regain their composure following Irvine's score and concentrate on making up the leeway. A converted try would take them into the lead, but that's going to be pretty hard to get. Robinson steps through Wittenberg and Lynch in a good run as Britain press on. Relying on teamwork, individual play is at a minimum. But Ramsey, suffering slight concussion, is uncertain in handling, surrendering possession to Diamond. Defending solidly, the British backs check their rivals as the forwards are often unable to get across and cover. More definite in attack, the Kangaroos' confident backline receive plenty of opportunities which they put to good use. Australia are within 15 yards of Britain's line and a score seems imminent. Thornett to Lynch, but he knocks on, giving the tourists a most welcome reprieve. Lynch forces the ball, but a scrum is ordered. Using their weight to advantage, Australia win the ball. Smith sending to Gleeson, back to Smith, but he's halted by Brooke. Britain are in dire straits as Australia pound their defences inside the 25. Beaver's getting to within a few yards of the line before Robinson and Ramsey stop him. Although holding the upper hand, the Kangaroos still feel the force of Britain's severe tackling. The fresher Australia carry on with their open style of play. The British forwards strive to drive the ball back into the ruck, where they have a better chance of holding the Kangaroos. But with the opposition pack functioning well, the visitors could pay dearly for the slightest mistake. Walsh to Smith, on to Thornett, then Lynch, who pivots as the defence hangs off. Straightening up, Lynch crosses for a quick-thinking try that could seal Britain's fate. Getting the try, Johns kicks his second goal, Australia increasing its lead to 16-9. Winning the ball, Britain come back in exciting fashion. Bishop whipping a pass to Edgar, who sends Hardesty away. Kicking and following on, Hardesty is illegally tackled by Johns as the ball goes over Australia's line. Referee Pearce makes league history by awarding a penalty try, the first to be given in Anglo-Australian tests. A try now in slow motion. The burly Bryant smashes through tackles in a powerful thrust before being covered by Wittenberg. On the play the ball, the dummy half Bishop sends to Edgar. The wily British captain sends Hardesty into the clear. The Britisher kicks with his knee, then his foot as he's taken to ground. As with Irvine's try, the referee has no hesitation in making his decision. Gowers easily converts. It's 16-14 Australia's way. Winning most of the scrums, the Kangaroos have a major share of possession. The understanding developed by Smith and Lynch produces polished work around the rucks, and on numerous occasions, the tough forward gives Britain's inside backs a hard time. The Kangaroos' handling is safer than Britain's, allowing them to make full use of the ball, and they've no intention of closing up the game. But the tourists are relentless in their efforts to contain them. Kelly to Smith. The 11-stone halfback is taken by 15-stone Ramsey. It is up quickly as Australia pepper the stout-hearted defence. Walsh spots an opening and spearing through sends to Smith, but Hardesty's effective tackle brings him down. Australia, as Britain did earlier, is keeping the ball in play, waiting for the chance to capitalise on any error by the opposition. Johns is heavily grounded by Buckley, but holds the ball as Britain becomes frustrated in their efforts to gain possession. Calling upon any reserve energy that may be left, they move rapidly to their man, but time is running out. Wittenberg, one of the best forwards of the match, plays the ball to Walsh. Smith to Lynch, but Ramsey has him covered. The Kangaroos appear to be in control, but are not taking any undue chances. Gradually making ground inside the opposition half, they're positioned for a sharp attack. Greaves is halted by Bishop and Gowers close to the 25. Acclaimed in many quarters as the world's best dummy half, Walsh sends to Gleeson, on to Thornett, then Johns, whose well-timed pass sends Irvine flying for the corner, and the wing is over for his third try. The second time he's accomplished the feat in test against Britain. Australia lead 19-14 inside the last 2 minutes. Appreciating the value of possession, the Australian forwards tighten up. The British defence makes a last-ditch effort to shake the ball free, but with victory in their grasp, the experienced Kangaroos are more than equal to the challenge. Tension is building up as Lynch is tackled by Hardesty. Smith to Wittenberg as Bishop leaps up to deliver a head-high tackle, and restraint is forgotten as tempers explode. Watching the centre as an Australian forward measures Robinson for a smashing right to the jaw. Robinson is down and out. some valuable time. In the closing seconds, the Kangaroos are penalised for a scrum infringement in their own half, giving Britain a dramatic chance of gaining a draw if they can score a converted try from an up and under as the hooter sounds. From about 40 yards out, Gowers prepares for the kick. The Lions charge after the ball, but it's taken by Diamond, and Australia win the match and the series to retain the Ashes. And there are congratulations all round from the British players. It's the first time the Kangaroos have defended the Ashes in Australia in 52 years, and with their success have added another chapter to the Code's history.